Look at that right. Hold on. Yeah. We got the moon in Leo with the sun in Gemini. So keep in mind everything gonna hit the fan right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's expressing an ideal. Moon in Leo, sun in Gemini. Let's jam out real quick though. You feel me? Get a light. This song called Bounce. You can check it out, you know what I'm saying, on my page. Don't get down, don't get down. Get a light. And lighting up, hands up, put your lighters up. Hands up, lighters up. Bounce, up and down, titties in the crowd. Jump around. Bounce, bounce, bounce. What you feeling now? Make you feel free right now. Liberation in the sound. Right now. Sound off if you in the crowd right now. Bounce, bounce. It's the moment right now. Wanna get down? Let me get down. Rhythm take then the indigenous rhyme got me feeling sick then. Edgar Poe from the depths, assassin in the flesh, yo. Check the moment, check. It's the moment, don't get down. Don't get down. Get a light and lighten up hands. Hands up, push the lighters up, bounce. Hands up, lighters up, bounce. Change on my breath right now. Inhale, exhale, define what life is now. Love what you just got. Could brag about what you feeling now. Love with yourself right now. Only you can do you right now. I think I found love within myself right now. Code red is so real. Multiply ocean tides. Right around my hopeful poets could be defined. Divine and divine, enjoy the earth, taught me the essence of divine and divine. Enjoy the herbs, taught me essence, amazing verbs, etymology, cosmology, enchanting, tantric practice. I follow the astronomy. What is born like herbs, make the modern world. Where the crying niggas, Hendrix, small league, count blessings. Bless. Yeah, so the sun's in Gemini right now, and the moon's finishing up in Leo. So keep in mind, we got that sextile energy with all the Leo and the Gemini energy. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna get right into that, right after the song. Feel me? All right, yeah, so keep in mind, like I said, we got the moon in Leo with the sun in Gemini. So the moon in Leo is expression, or everything hitting the fan all at once, so to speak. And keep in mind, the moon in Leo is going to be the sextile to all the Gemini energy and things like that. So we're going to be seeing opportunities, seeing a lot of opportunities based on our emotional state and things of that nature. So keep in mind, we got the moon in Leo, sextile and the sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, and got Venus in Gemini, and also Jupiter in Gemini, right? So keep that in mind, that Jupiter is expansion, Venus is values, Mercury is thinking, and the sun is communicating. I mean, the sun is actions, and Mercury is also communicating, like I say. And keep in mind, we're seeing both sides of these things and finding like the pieces to the puzzle that are necessary to put the puzzle together, kind of thing. Like the Gemini energy is very much so two-sided, but it also is all about the truth. So keep in mind, we got like I say, the moon in Leo is going to see the opportunity. So we're seeing the opportunity to feel comfortable expressing oneself based on our expansion that we've experienced. Feeling comfortable expressing ourselves based on our values that we're communicating about as well. And communications, like I say, are at home in Gemini, like Mercury. Mercury's at home in Gemini. So Mercury does well here. So essentially, we're going to have our like speeded up, our way of thinking and communicating is going to be very fast and sped up and things like that. I got a Sagittarius sun, so sometimes the Gemini energy, I'm saying, can kind of conflict. So that's a whole other thing. And then keep in mind, like I said, we got the sun in Gemini as well. So taking action upon the truth and things like that, and seeing both sides to a circumstance. So we're either seeing the opportunity to take action in our communications and ways of thinking, and also the ways that we value things. And based on the way that we value things, we're then in turn seeing the truth of those values and expressing them and things like that. So essentially, the moon in Leo is like you feel on the higher octave expressing oneself, or on the lower octave you feel uncomfortable expressing your circumstance, situation, and things that are going on. And then keep in mind, we also have Mars entering Taurus, right? So Mars entering Taurus is going to square the Pluto. This is a whole left field thing from the moon, but keep in mind this is a very important circumstance situation, because Mars in Taurus is having the intentions to put things in a fixed manner and things like that, having the intention or the passion of making sense or grounding or logistics and practicality. So at this point in time, we're being very passionate about our, you know what I'm saying, depending on where you have the Taurus in your houses. For me personally, I have it in my 10th house. So it's all about, for me, feeling passionate or having the intentions upon grounding my status and things like that. So that's just like putting myself on the forefront and things like that. So keep in mind, is squaring Pluto, Mars squaring Pluto means we're going to learn how to have our intentions be transformed and things like that. And based on this association in the Aquarius energy. So it's both fixed energies, that's why they square, right? So essentially, our intentions being Mars are going to be a learning process throughout our change and our ways of deep change and transformation and things like that. And keep in mind, we also have Uranus and Taurus. So like I said, we have the moon in Leo. So the moon is squaring Mars and Uranus. So learning also how to feel comfortable with our intentions or our passions is Mars, and also Uranus being an unexpected change or a lightning-like change or something out of left field that we didn't see coming and things like that. But we have to be able to ground that at this point in time, with the Uranus being in Taurus. And it's kind of funny. I was speaking about unexpected change. My phone unexpectedly changed from the stand. I'm saying it fall a little bit right there whenever I'm speaking on it. So we are learning how to express our ways of changing or being a unique and original individual, or being rebellious upon the ways that things are grounded and things like that. So essentially, what you have fixed in your life, you're going to either feel comfortable expressing those things or feel uncomfortable expressing those things at this point in time. So the fixed energy is like a power source or things like that, so to speak. Like you think about the cardinal initiating creates the power, you know what I'm saying? The mutable adapts to the power, but the fixed literally plays that out, or keeps it going and stays consistent upon their ways of, I'm saying, their circumstance and situation. So Taurus, being a fixed earth sign, is logistic and practicality. So essentially a logistical pattern behind ways that we are consistent. So essentially with Uranus, it's kind of like a difficult circumstance situation with it being in Taurus, because Taurus likes to have things be practical and consistent, and Uranus tends to have things come out of left field and be unexpected and have this unexpected and rebellious change. So essentially, we either feel comfortable being an individual, you know what I'm saying, with the Uranus energy, or we feel uncomfortable being an individual, essentially with the moon in Leo. So we're learning how to be an individual with the moon squaring Uranus, and we're also learning how to be passionate at this point in time and express this passion with the Mars in Taurus. And then moving forward, we have the moon trining the north node and also Chiron, and being in Aries. So the moon in Leo trining the north node is going to be feeling comfortable, creating an opportunity for our purpose, or what we have our uncomfortable circumstance situation. So essentially the south node is our comfortability and things like that, things that we feel comfortable with, and are kind of like our space that we can kind of return to whenever we feel uncomfortable and things like that, and kind of nervous and things of that nature. So we're going to create an opportunity to express our purpose at this point in time. And with Chiron being here, also being in Aries is that individual sign. So Chiron being in the individual sign, we're kind of having to heal our wounds based on being an individual. But we're now creating an opportunity with the moon in Leo to express, you know what I'm saying, or feel comfortable expressing this individuality and things like that, with the Chiron being here. Then moving forward, and the way that you would utilize this energy, like to say, you just want to be your own individual and understand that there's going to be bumps along the road, just being yourself and things like that. Everybody got their own personal challenges and things like that. But yeah, moving forward, the moon in conjunct is in conjuncting Saturn and Neptune. So an in conjunction is a misunderstanding and things like that. So we may misunderstand our dreams and illusions and nightmares based on the Saturn and our ways of building that and expressing and feeling comfortable expressing this way of restriction and things like that. So keep this in mind that you may misunderstand that what you're building on at this point in time or expressing what you're building upon and things of that nature. Or you may misunderstand that you actually are expressing things that you should actually restrict at this point in time based on your dreams and things of that nature. You don't want to let everybody know your dreams because then you can have dream snatchers and things like that and people that enter your energies and end up actually, stealing your dream and things of that nature. So before you got a patent and things like that, you don't really want to express your ideas and things like that, things of that nature. And then the Neptune being here as well, Neptune being in Pisces is the dream, illusion, and nightmare being at home. So essentially, we feel comfortable expressing our dream, illusion, and nightmare, and we may misunderstand it based on it being in this illusionary space and things like that. It's kind of, the moon in Leo is like that forefront, like everything hitting the fan. And it's like, has your dream actually been accumulated at this point in time? That's what you may misunderstand. And then, keep in mind that there's individuals that are in the chat, that think they're intelligent, but at the end of the day, they're on YouTube watching somebody else and not on their own channel. So, keep in mind, stupid people are going to be stupid. Yeah, and then moving forward, the moon in Leo is going to oppose Pluto, right? Whenever it first entered there, So keep that in mind. If you're either opposing or adding on to your ways of deep and extreme change. So essentially, you're ignoring the change that you need to have take place in your life, or you're actually addressing it and things like that and becoming more relative to the change that you need to express and things like that and adding on to that. So moving forward, now that we're 12 minutes in and things like that, we're going to go ahead and break down the rising signs and things like that. So starting with Leo. So Leo's going to have the moon in their first house, so either feeling comfortable with their personal affairs or their individuality at this point in time and things like that. So it's either you feel comfortable expressing your individuality or you feel uncomfortable expressing your individuality. And essentially with this being said, you need to rectify your own life and things like that, since it's being in the first house. And if you're a Leo rising that has your life being all scattered and things like that, based on the sun being a Gemini and things of that nature, you need to see the opportunity on what to actually rectify and focus on. So like Leo is that fixed fire. So it's like that fixed focus is the way I like to look at it. Like fix your eyes upon a vision, things like that. So whenever you have a certain vision that you have playing out in your personal life, either you feel comfortable with that or you feel uncomfortable with that, to put it in other words. And then moving forward, the Cancer rising is having the second house being a Leo. So their second house in Leo is all about the values of a person, place, thing, or idea. So it's either you feel comfortable expressing your ideas at this point in time. You feel comfortable being even around other people and things like that, and other places and things of that nature. So the Cancer either feels comfortable expressing themselves about their values and things like that, or they feel uncomfortable expressing their values at this point in time. And essentially, if you're on the lower side of energy and things of that nature, you need to find something you actually feel like lightens up your life or shines the light on your values and things like that, like a light you actually want to shine, so to speak. So maybe it's a place that you go that you actually value and things of that nature, and that's the space that you need to be in at this point in time. And keep in mind, this is a waxing moon that we got in Leo, right? So we're accumulating more and new experiences based on it being that new moon, and then the new moon, continues to wax until it becomes the full moon and we're fully satisfied and we have the full accumulation. So keep in mind, you're building up to what is actually going to be the climax, so to speak, being the full moon. So essentially, you want to express yourself to have the proper climax experience based on the moon in Sagittarius, whenever we have that experience. Then moving forward, the Gemini rising is having the third house in Leo. So based on the third house in Leo, they have that sextile, so seeing the opportunity. So the Gemini is seeing the opportunity on what to express in their environment or communicate about in their environment, things like that. So essentially, you feel comfortable communicating in your environment, at your immediate spaces, or you feel uncomfortable communicating in your environment, in your immediate spaces. So either you see the opportunity to express oneself on the higher octave, or you see the opportunity not to express oneself on the lower octave and things like that. But either way, you're going to be seeing the opportunity. And then moving forward, the fourth house in Leo is the Taurus rising. So Taurus rising is having this square play out at this point in time. And keep in mind, the fourth house is your privacy, your home, and things close to your heart and things like that. or even your family, so to speak. So the Taurus is either feeling comfortable expressing things that are close to their heart at this point in time on the higher octave, or they're feeling uncomfortable expressing their private matters and things like that. Or at this point in time, based on it being the square, the Taurus, not or, but as well as that, the Taurus is learning how to express oneself in their private matters and expressing themselves amongst their home and things like that. So it's either you're learning how to express oneself more, or you're learning that you expressing oneself and expressing your heart and things like that is actually not beneficial and it's hurting you, so to speak. But yeah, moving forward, the Aries rising is having the fifth house being in Leo. So the fifth house in Leo is all about the expression and things like that, or the childlike nature. You feel comfortable being your individual self on the higher octave, you feel uncomfortable being your individual self. So you're either creating the opportunity to express oneself, or you're creating the opportunity to suppress oneself, so to speak, on the opposite side of energy. So it's pretty much like if you're on the lower side of energy, you just want to be more free and things like that, free yourself and things of that nature, and express that childlike nature that you grew up in and things like that. And moving forward, the Pisces rising is having the sixth house being in Leo. So the sixth house compared to the first house, that's a 150-degree angle, so it's a misunderstanding, right? So the Pisces is misunderstanding how to go about their routine and pattern based on everything hitting the fan all at once. It's like the Pisces is thinking, oh, should I focus on this thing, this pattern, or should I focus on a separate pattern and things like that? So it's either you feel comfortable expressing your routine and pattern and being in that routine on the higher octave, or you don't have a routine and pattern and you're scattered and things like that. And keep in mind that the Pisces is also a square to the Sun in Gemini. So it's either you learn how to be more logistical and practical at this time, or you kind of tend to be more delusional at this point in time if you're on the lower octave of the square with this the Sun in Gemini. So essentially, the Pisces has to focus on their routine and pattern and what's necessary for their own self and things like that to have a beneficial relationship with their patterns and things of that nature. Then moving forward, the Aquarius rising is having the seventh house being in Leo, and it's a 180-degree angle between Aquarius and Leo. So it's a complete opposition. So it's either you can add on or oppose. Essentially, what I like to look at it as is who you want to relate to, or your relations and things like that, is what the Aquarius is going through right now. It's either you feel comfortable expressing yourself with your people that you're relative to, or you feel uncomfortable expressing oneself and adding on to their circumstances, or other people don't add on to your circumstances and things like that. So it's all about balance in the seventh house. It's either like you have an unbalanced expression on the lower octave, or you have a balanced expression on the higher octave, so to speak. And then moving forward, the Capricorn rising is having the eighth house being in Leo. So the eighth house in Leo is a transformation of expression and things like that, and things of that nature. So essentially, it's like you have this rebirth going on. You feel comfortable expressing this rebirth. You feel comfortable expressing your new self and things like that, and things that you're transforming. And keep in mind, if you're on the lower octave, you may be on a circumstance, situation where you actually want to express yourself to transform anything and things like that. So it's either you're on the higher octave, you're transforming things, you're in the lower octave, and you're saying, I don't need to transform, nothing needs to change, and things like that. And keep in mind, the only thing constant is change. So yeah, keep in mind this is also in conjunction. So the Capricorn may misunderstand based on the Leo energy, and like, do I really need to express myself and things like that for people to see me shine and things like that? Do I really need to do these kind of things and things of that nature? Is what it's Capricorn misunderstanding, the 150-degree angle, that okay, Leo, I actually do need to shine in my certain area of life based on it being in the eighth house. I do need to shine whenever I transform things and things like that, or you feel uncomfortable showing that shine of transformation, so to speak. Then moving forward, the Sagittarius rising is having the 10th house. Oh, pardon me, the 9th house. Yeah, my apologies. The Sagittarius rising is having the 9th house being in Leo. So it's all about the morality, experience, knowledge, and travel based on it being in the 9th house. And it's creating the opportunity based on it being the trine. So that trine angle is a 120-degree angle, right? So the Sagittarius is creating an opportunity to be in the morality or teach people and things like that. It's either you feel comfortable expressing your knowledge and wisdom on the higher octave, or you feel uncomfortable expressing the knowledge and wisdom at this point in time. But either way, you're going to create an opportunity to express your morality or knowledge and wisdom. or travel, essentially. And then moving forward, the 10th house in Leo is the Scorpio rising. So the 10th house is all about status, career, and business and things like that. So keep in mind the Scorpio is having their focus on their expression in their status and things like that on the higher octave, or they're feeling uncomfortable expressing their status at this point in time. So the Scorpio has to learn to be more expressive at this point in time, essentially, is what's going on. And if you're on the lower octave, you need to find something you actually feel comfortable expressing or feel comfortable putting on putting as your status or your career and things like that. Then moving forward, the Libra rising is having the 11th house being in Leo. So the 11th house is all about association, public spaces, and your public persona. So the Libra is seeing the opportunity to express their public persona in the association and things like that. On the higher octave, you're expressing yourself amongst associates. On the lower octave, you kind of tend to be more recluse and things like that, and you don't even really want to talk to nobody. And you're kind of more in that energy of, I don't want to relate to anybody. I don't want to create any balance, essentially, in my associates. So the Libras on the higher octave, if they're being more communicative and associative at this point in time, and it's beneficial things, or if they're on the lower octave, they don't even want to associate with nobody, so to speak. So you're seeing the opportunity to associate on the higher octave, or you're seeing the opportunity to not associate on the lower octave, and seeing like, do I really want to be around these people and things like that. And last but not least, the Virgo rising is having the 12th house being in Leo. So it's all about the dreams, illusions, and nightmares are also endings. And keep in mind, the 12th house is like your unconscious spaces, so to speak. So that expression that you didn't even realize that you're expressing yourself, or like that illusionary nature that you express yourself, you either feel comfortable with that on the higher octave or you feel uncomfortable with that on the lower octave. So essentially, the Virgo, I would say, just embrace your dreams at this point in time and embrace the expression of that dream, you know what I'm saying? And say it with the lion's roar, so to speak. Keep in mind, the more you are in the energy of, I really am the lion and I claim victory and things like that, that's essentially the Leo energy and things of that nature. The Leo always sees themselves as the star of the show or the lead role. So essentially, you want to find your own way to be the lead role in that area of life. So like I say, for example, Gemini is having the lead role in their environment, right? At this point in time, they're feeling comfortable as the lead role in their third house, so to speak. And that's just an example. And then let's think about Sagittarius. They see themselves as the lead role in the way that they can teach or the way that they're knowledgeable and wise, essentially, at this point in time. So yeah, that's just another example for it. But the way you want to go about this sextile with the Sun in Gemini and the Moon in Leo is communicating that bravado or communicating that vision, essentially, at this point in time. And you feel comfortable with communicating your visions and things of that nature. So yeah, much love and holla back, and peace and love if you believe in all that. You know what I'm saying? And all you individuals that watch for the learning and things like that, and knowledge and wisdom, I'm very grateful. You know what I'm saying? I'm even grateful for the haters and things like that. I'm grateful for people that don't even comprehend what I'm really doing, you know what I'm saying, and manipulating my own circumstance to actually become beneficial and things like that. So yeah, it's all about, at this point in time, how do you want to see yourself as the star of the show? And what do you want to communicate of being the star of the show? And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Depending on what kind of show you got going on. Either you got a horror movie, you got a comedy movie, you got an action movie. What kind of movie you want to produce and things like that. Salute y'all, you know what I'm saying? And even the trolls, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all because y'all give me watch time and watch hours. So if you a troll and you watch all this time, you know what I'm saying? I know you actually love me. Peace and love. Believe in all that.